we are missing
Pat's
Pat.
not gonna be here.
He told us he's not going to be here. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Henry Ford College Board meeting. It's regular board meeting. It's 5/18, May 18th, and it's right now 7:06. We're going to call the meeting to order.
Trustee Bazzi. Here. Trustee D'Ambrosio is absent. Trustee Mosip.
Present.
Trustee Pelichkov.
Here.
Trustee Subah.
Here.
Trustee Zahar here. Chair Al-Jahmi.
Here. Next item, please.
Next item is approval of minutes for the following Board of Trustees meetings. These are for the regular Board of Trustees meeting on April 20th, 2026, the regular Board of Trustees meeting closed session, April 20th, 2026, and the Board of Trustees Ad Hoc Presidential Contract Committee meeting, May 7th, 2026. I'm looking for somebody to make any necessary corrections and move to approve these minutes.
So moved.
I'll support.
Second. We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
No opposition, motion's approved. Next item, please.
Next item is recognition and acknowledgements.
She's got her fan base.
Well, we got applause already. Good evening, Chair Al-Jahmi, President Gonko, and Board of Trustees. Thank you for this opportunity. As always, it's my pleasure to introduce our student reader. This student comes to you by special request from one of the trustees, so we can hear more about that later. But anyway, this is Kalima Smith. She's one of our culinary students. She did just earn her associate degree from the college and is continuing her education here, so I'm going to let her speak to you.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, President Gonko, Chair Al-Jahmi, and members of the board. My name is Kalima Smith. I graduated HFC on May 9th with my associates in culinary arts and also hotel and restaurant management. I chose Henry Ford College because I needed more than just a college. I needed a community. I needed support, guidance, and a place where I could grow into the person and professional that I wanted to become. My experience at HFC has been priceless. I came looking for an education, but along the way I found family, perseverance, and grit. Through culinary arts and hospitality, I've learned the importance of every role and how each position works together to create excellence. The entire culinary and hospitality team has inspired me and taught me the standards of the industry. Their mentorship and belief in students helped me push to the opportunities I never imagined, including being featured in the Detroit Free Press for the grand opening of the Dearborn Inn autograph collection at the Marriott, an international property. I am also a sous chef for 5101 restaurant inside of the college, and that hands-on experience has become an armor for me. Working in a real restaurant environment while balancing school has taught me discipline, leadership, communication, and how to perform under pressure. It's experience I can take anywhere, and it gave me confidence in my abilities long before graduation. Beyond school, I have also started my own mobile baking business. This training has given me the foundation to grow that business into something successful and long-lasting. From hospitality standards to culinary technique and leadership, every lesson at HFC is helping me build the skills needed to prosper as both a chef and an entrepreneur. One of my most proudest moments of my journey is the opportunity to join the American Culinary Federation as a certified culinarian, all thanks to HFC. That recognition reminded me that long hours, discipline, and dedication to my craft are leading me towards something greater. Knowing that HFC facilitates such a prestigious pipeline of opportunities all in one place is so easy for me. I love that. You're not feeling like you're losing credits or you're all over the place. This is your home. They prepare you to go get that master's, the doctorates, or however far you want to go. One of the most meaningful parts of the experience has been serving as vice president of HFC's all women, at this moment, anyone can join, but at this moment, it's all women's ice carving club. Through the club, I had the opportunity to participate in the hands-on ice carving demonstration at the Dawson Great Lakes Museum on Belle Isle. In netting some of the most talented women in the program, our dedication and innovation also helped us bring more culinary recognition by having merchandise in the college store. So when you see culinary HFC, that came from Alexandria from the culinary department, and she's on the ice carving team. Education is not always polished. I could have easily put this inside of an AI engine and said, hey, polish this for me, but that is not education. Education is challenging and imperfect and full of failures and lessons that shape who you become. Every setback taught me resilience. Every success reminded me why I started. That journey is what makes me not only a mother, a daughter, a productive member of society, but a hawk, a very strong hawk. As I continue my education and career, I plan to keep raising the standard in hospitality and culinary arts, creating spaces where people feel welcome, valued, and inspired, and not letting hospitality go down the drain. Because in the new generation, we want to keep that legacy strong, and we want to keep the standard there. I would like to congratulate all of the HFCs reaching tenure, especially my mentor, Chef Keith Davis. He's the executive pastry chef inside of 5101. And now I would like to read this month's acknowledgments, if that's okay. All right.
If the chef didn't bring any of his
Did you bring
samples.
any Well, visit 5101.
We used to get that a long time ago, I can tell
Really?
you.
Well, we'll bring that back. Make sure you taste all of the delicious things that we create. They're so delicious.
I second.
They're so good. Now I would like to read this month's acknowledgments. Congratulations to the students, staff of the Mirror News, and faculty advisor, Dr. Peter Kim, on a record-breaking award season. The student-run newspaper won a historic 40 awards at the Michigan Community College Press Association Conference in late March, followed by 21 awards from the Michigan Press Association in May, where it was named the Division III College Newspaper of the Year. Congratulations, and keep up the great work. That's amazing. HFC respiratory therapist students swept the top 2 spots at the statewide Michigan Society for Respiratory Care Sputum Bowl in Kalamazoo. 2 HFC teams defeated 17 other competitors to reach an undefeated final round against each other, with the mast cell stabilizers taking first place and the notorious ABGs taking second. The mast cell stabilizers will represent the community college nationally in New Orleans in November. Super exciting. That's really great. Congratulations. Electrical engineering technology major Jasmine Hardy was recently selected as one of the 10 students in North America to join the Cisco Networking Academy U.S. Dream Team. Hardy is the first woman from HFC to receive this prestigious honor. She will travel to Las Vegas this June to provide hands-on technical support for the Cisco Live Global Conference. Congratulations, Jasmine. That's amazing work. A team of HFC honors pre-engineering students has been named a finalist in the National Community College Innovation Challenge for their development of Suclara, a portable, all-in-one water testing and adaptive filtration system that integrates AI-based image analysis to interpret contaminant levels. The team includes Hector Fugon Garcia, Nicholas Kropp, Amaya Martin, and Jordan Williams. This team is the only finalist from a Michigan community college. They will attend a specialized innovation boot camp in Washington, D.C. in June. Thank you for the opportunity to be this month's reader. Do you all have any questions for me? No?
Go ahead, trustee
Okay.
Benzie, and then trustee Mazza.
Klima, I'm very happy that you're here today.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you so much for having me here. I feel very emotional, but I'm holding you.
I learned about your story through Zeman. I
Thank-
serve on the
Zaman!
I serve on the advisory council, and when I saw your story at the gala, and then I saw your Henry Ford logo on your chef's outfit there, I was like, we need to have you here today.
And there
so-
it comes.
Yeah. And so knowing your story before you came to HFC, if you wanted to tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, thank you
Um,
so much. Wow. So Zaman means so much to me. Before I came to Henry Ford College, I was at Zaman International, and that place was also a gem in my heart. At that time, I came inside of Zaman. I was super emotional. My mom was in the hospital. She was actually misdiagnosed with cancer. And I had to facilitate for my mom and also be there for myself. So that was very intense for me, but it made me very resilient. A lot of the medical advice that I was getting wasn't correct, and they just wanted me to kind of take it, but I facilitated for her, and I got her in another environment, in another hospital, and they said that she didn't have any of those things that the other doctors and physicians said. So, wow, you really caught me with that one.
Well, I know that you went through the men's culinary arts
Yes,
program, and
I
that,
did.
that was a stepping stone to coming here to Henry
Yes,
Ford.
it definitely
Your
is.
story was very inspiring. It was a very simple thought that we need to have you here so we can hear your story, because
Yes.
it is very inspirational, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm so happy that you're here today.
Thank you so much. And my mom is doing very well. She was at graduation, super supportive, very independent. And thank you so much for this
Tell
opportunity.
us what your next steps are.
My next step is to make sure that hospitality stays in a great place. So hospitality consultation company is the end game. But for now, I want to pour into my own company, my own business with ice carving and desserts and hands-on teaching. Yes. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow.
Trustee Mazza?
Yes.
Ms. Smith, thank you for making Henry Ford look good.
Of course.
Obviously, the chefs, whenever they service others or they cater to events, I was at the Easter Market Gala last
Yeah.
November and witnessed our students and our staff do a very good job of presenting the culinary program that
Yeah.
you're in a very great manner. So thank you for that. I wanted to say, I know you're in culinary and you feel very passionate about that, but
Yeah.
are you considering media as well? Because of your personality.
Well, it will go hand in hand with marketing for my own
I
company.
think
but
you would make a great one.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I was just going to point that out because you did an excellent job.
Thank you so much.
In the acknowledgement and
Mhm.
rendition there with your own side comments there that made it that much more special for us. But also, media, you see a lot of these upstarting restaurants that go on the news and showcase their environment for others to encourage them to come in and
Yeah.
be served. So I think you do have a great beginning to a long and fruitful career. And I guess hospitality has seen some struggles lately.
Yes.
So your personality will hopefully help revive it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is so priceless. I really
Trustee
appreciate
Czar?
it. Yeah.
Well, Halima, first of all, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like Trustee Pelichkov. I appreciated your little extra encouragements at the end of each of the, that was off script, I assume?
It is.
Okay, all right.
Those are my true
That's okay,
feelings.
that's allowed here. I expect that we'll probably see you on some sort of like TV chef competition show one day.
Yes, that's the goal.
Okay, make sure you mention us
Of
when
course. Of course.
and then does your first name come from the Arabic name Halima?
It does.
So do you know what it means?
Yes, so
What
it
does it
means
mean?
eloquence and studious, that I am a speaker.
Yeah.
That's what they told you? Yeah.
That's
Okay,
what
cool.
is
That's
that
right.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
It also means like patient,
Yes.
but you're a chef. Is that?
Yes,
Yes,
and that
yeah.
can, the cliche that chefs have tempers, that's another thing that I want to throw out of the window.
Okay.
I feel if you are confident in what you're doing and you respect the craft, no matter how emotional you get, you'll keep that standard in the kitchen.
Well, your name also means, in Arabic, a word can mean a million different things.
Yeah.
And your name also can mean someone who's like very comforting. And so we're
Yes.
definitely that for us tonight.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you, and we're proud of you.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine, truly.
Thank you so much. Trustee,
Yeah, I'll echo all the same. I'm so proud of you. We just met like a minute ago, but I'm so proud of you. And then to see, your mentor sitting there smiling ear to ear, I'm cheesing and he's cheesing, and there's just so much pride right here. So thank you so much. And then
Thank
I was
you.
also gonna play off of your little off script and leave it simple and quote you right back to congratulations. That's awesome. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. I love being a hawk. I'm going to cry so hard when I get this bachelor's and walk across that stage. However, I'm always going to be here to volunteer my time, everything. I just love it here. This is my home. Zaman is my home as well. This is my home, too. They're both my homes. Yeah.
So like a free ice carving, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, of course. in the shape of a hawk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one thing I want to add.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Of
Really
course.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
As a part of recognition and acknowledgement, I just want to thank the HFC pre-educational students. They're back there. And thank you for coming and meeting with me. And thank you to Carolyn Cassell. I hope I said it right. It was great meeting you. And I encourage what you're doing with these young people to bring them in and introduce them to our superintendent, to the board. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, they,
Yes.
amazing group of young people, so I want to add that to the acknowledgement. Thank you.
Yes, you are in a wonderful place, and you're going to go very far, very far. The support, the love, the standard, it's all here. It really is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Next item.
The next item is the president's items.
Thank you. I really don't want to have to follow Ms. Smith because she did such a wonderful job, but here we go. During the recognition and acknowledgements, Ms. Smith mentioned faculty achieving tenure. So we do have 8 full-time faculty members who are achieving tenure, as noted in your board packets. And I believe some of them are with us this evening. So I'd like to read their names and ask if you're here, if you will stand so that we can then give you a collective round of applause. We have Max Bilodeau from chemistry, Adriza Caesar, counseling, Keith Davis, culinary arts and hospitality, Thomas Hopkins, media and communication arts, Emily Pulowski, nursing, John Michael Safel, theater, Greg Ward, building sciences, and Kenetra Young, a public health instructor. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Trustees, we've had the pleasure of spending a lot of time together recently supporting our students at our end of the year events, including our Ford Asset graduation dinner, the Phi Theta Kappa induction ceremony, our nursing pinning ceremony, and of course our 2 commencement ceremonies just 2 weekends ago. We had great representation from the board at each of these celebrations, so thank you to each of you who came out to support our students and for speaking at those events, which included Trustee Czar, Trustee Mosip, and Trustee Soap. We are grateful for all of the support that you've shown to our students. You may have heard that our commencement ceremonies had record-breaking numbers of graduates in attendance, with over 300 at each ceremony. And that is, really special for us, as the number of grads is a direct representation of the hard work and the dedication that the team here at HFC has been pouring into student success over the past several years. You'll all likely recall that one of our strategic planning goals has been to increase our graduation rate, which is now remarkably above 25%, down from the lowest point of 6%. So to see that work really come full circle, that is such a true testament to the work of the faculty, the staff, and the support of the board. I do expect that we'll continue to see those numbers rise in the future. One challenge, of course, that comes along with increasing numbers of grads is space. And should we continue to see these numbers rise in the future, we may need to identify a larger venue for our commencement celebration. And that's something that's been discussed with Vice President Diamond and our commencement team, and something that is on the radar for future years. Additionally, I had a good conversation with Trustee Sobe following the afternoon ceremony about ways that we could potentially incorporate a student voice into our commencement ceremonies with a student speaker, which is not something that we have always been able to accommodate in the past. So I'm sure that the college can look forward to exploring new types of traditions and ways to celebrate our students in the future. Shifting topics, the great work of getting our students across the finish line leads us to a slightly less exciting but certainly interesting data point, and that is our enrollment. So the summer semester is officially upon us. Our 15-week and our first 8-week classes started last week on May 12th. As of today, our summer enrollment is trending slightly down by about 4.5%. But keep in mind that we still have our 12-week classes that are starting on May 26th. We have second 8-week classes beginning June 29th as well. And our census date for the summer, that date where we officially mark our enrollment, isn't until July 8th. So there is still some time to see some shifting in those numbers. We are, though, seeing a similar trend for the fall, at least at this very preliminary stage. Our fall registration began last month, and as of today, we are down about 9% from where we were at the same time last year. And some of what we speculate is contributing to this is the fact that we've gotten really good at getting our students to complete, which is wonderful, but it's challenging us to think about different methods for refilling that pipeline moving forward. So the cabinet and our teams all across the college are watching this, of course, very closely. We've examined the data, we've examined the trends, and during the first week of May, we launched a series of activities designed to tackle this challenge, including targeted messaging to certain student populations. So, for example, identifying students who were admitted to the college but who have not yet enrolled in classes, looking at students who completed winter 26 classes but have not yet enrolled for fall, and so on. We're also monitoring our available sections daily and adding sections where we have already met or exceeded our current capacity. So that work is ongoing. We'll also be reaching out to our partners at the district this week to hopefully collaborate on some additional dual enrollment opportunities, as our dual enrollment numbers are also down a bit more than what we have traditionally seen in the past. So this is all very fluid at this time. Our census date for the fall isn't until September 4th, so we're in early days of this. We'll continue to keep the board apprised of what we intend to see as positive shifts in the enrollment moving forward. Lastly, I'd like to take an opportunity to highlight some really amazing work that our staff are engaged in called Caring Campus. And this is something that I've briefly spoke about at the winter State of the College, indicating that our frontline staff would be working on something really special as we moved from winter into summer. So just a brief synopsis, Caring Campus was initially launched by an organization called the Institute for Evidence-Based Change. It's designed to improve student retention, persistence, completion, and a sense of belonging by creating a culture where students feel genuinely welcomed and supported and connected to the college community. And the model by the Institute is based on research that shows that students, not surprisingly, are more likely to succeed academically when they experience really meaningful connection with faculty, staff, and the institution as a whole. So rather than focusing just on academic interventions, Caring Campus really emphasizes those everyday behaviors that communicate care and support to our students. All of this work is meant to integrate into the daily work of the institution as opposed to being a separate standalone initiative, so that it truly does become a cultural shift as opposed to a one-off or something that we do and then set aside for another project. I also would be remiss if I was suggesting that we don't already demonstrate care for our students. We absolutely do this, and very intentionally, but with Caring Campus, it becomes a more consistent institutional approach with a united front across all areas of the college. So to accomplish this work, we've identified representatives from all of our frontline staff all across the college. They are working with a Caring Campus coach and who will help decide how we implement this work at the college. The staff have already had a couple of sessions with the coach, and on June 5th, they'll be presenting their ideas collectively to the leadership team here at the college for implementation. And this is work that I've believed very deeply in for a long time now, so I'm really happy to see it coming to fruition, and I'm really excited to see what our staff propose as the next steps with this work. And Chair Aljami, that's my report.
Thank you so much. Dr. Ganko, next item, please.
Questions or
Oh, question.
commentary? Thank you, Dr. Ganko. The commencement went very well, and something new that we did this year was the addition of addressing the attendees in both languages, in Arabic and Spanish, which I really appreciated. I think that was a great touch that was felt by the families. And special thanks to Mr. Sam Bezzi and Ms. Sarah Gonzalez for doing it. It was great. As far as the summer semester, have we also looked, I know during the summer, a lot of students from the big universities come and stay with their families. Have we looked at the guest students and try to kind of market our classes to those students who might be not our students, but they could be guest students for the summertime.
Yeah, that is work that has been done by our Enrollment Services Office and continues to be done, again, with those strategic communication plans as well.
Okay.
We also, I think, have an opportunity with dual enrollment for the summer semester that, again, we'll be reaching out to our colleagues at the P12 to talk a little bit more intentionally about. We don't often see a large population of dual enrollment in the summer, but it's, of course, an excellent way for our students to get a leg up moving forward. And we are down about 20% in dual enrollment
Yeah, that's huge.
for the summertime. So that's targeting those 12-week and second 8-week especially, because those second 8-week classes happen after the regular P12 school year has concluded. So we still have some time to be able to work with those populations.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, next item, please.
Next item are discussion items. Starting with the winter 2026 proposed TIF projects, board report number 4809 with Mr. Bob James, the chair of the Technology Investment Committee.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Bob James, and I'm a member of the.
Could you stand at the microphone, sir? Thank you.
I was using my teacher voice. I thought I'm also a full-time faculty in CIS. We had some exciting projects that we'd like to bring to you for consideration. We did a pretty good job of, we had about $350,000 to look at for project funding, and we were able to move forward about $317,000 in projects. Probably the biggest one was some technology improvements in the ADRE auditorium. Now, a lot of that technology that they're going to put in has to be associated infrastructure also included in that, and that's also part of the TIF funding. Another really cool project is that was kind of an upgrade. We had a automage table. We were the first community college in Michigan. Matter of fact, we were the first college to actually get one of those automage tables in our biology department, and they're looking to do an upgrade to also include some extra functionality to it. So that was kind of a neat little project, and they're going to add to it, and I guess I don't know if anybody's ever had a chance to go over and take a look at it, but it's really kind of neat. Think of it like virtual surgery.
Mm.
So three-dimensional thing, so it's really kind of neat. Some other projects include some classroom items, such as some kilns and stuff for the science area, and some technology improvements in some of the classrooms, such as some boards, and another kind of a cool one having to do with topographical projection onto a three-dimensional sand area. So we're hoping that you will consider the funding for those, and if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Yes, sir.
Trustee Zucker and then Trustee Mazza.
Do you guys know what an automage table is? I don't. What's an automage table?
So think of this table right here,
Uh-huh.
and there's a screen. It's a graphic screen which has a human body in it,
Oh.
three-dimensional. And so a person could.
Wait.
Looks like the operation game.
Oh,
It's a virtual. Think of it like a three-dimensional game where you can peel the skin off of somebody and see their skeletal system and their muscular system.
Oh.
Let's see, the thing that they wanted to add was, let me look in here, it was a cadaver, a virtual cadaver.
Okay, cool. And
So it is kind of neat to be able to do it without having a real person there to have to
yeah, I agree.
tear apart.
Yeah. What classes do we use that for? What?
I don't know the exact classes, but
Okay.
it has its own little room, and it
You know?
is. Oh, there we go.
That is used routinely in
Yes.
anatomy and
kinesiology classes.
Wow.
Which is a base requirement for all of our healthcare programs.
Oh, that's right.
So, yeah, it literally is like your cell phone turned sideways, it really greatly expanded, and you can do three-dimensional dissections of human cadavers to see how everything is put together.
It's life size, it's full size,
Okay.
6-foot person.
Yeah.
It's really kind of neat. The
We didn't have those in law
TIF
school.
the TIF committee funded this back in 2018, so it's been used for, about 8 years now, and time for an upgrade, computer systems and some more functionality.
How much does one of those cost?
I would just say probably not the best thing to follow or
$6
a
grand.
culinary presentation.
Right. Oh, he got up to tell jokes. How much does one of those cost?
I don't
This
know.
one is $6,000.
Oh.
I think it's.
Well, this was the upgrade.
Oh,
It's a
sorry.
computer upgrade so they
Read,
can do more.
read the TIF.
My guess is it was probably in the neighborhood of about $80,000 6 years ago.
Trustee
And now it's an upgrade and.
Yeah, sorry.
As long as trustees are.
Yeah, I'm done, yeah,
is
thank you.
Done. I've been here long enough to know when we, installed something for our science department that was a virtual Earth. It was that never ended up working well, unfortunately, and we invested a lot of money in it. We've got on here a topo box,
Yes.
which is another kind of tool to use.
Mhm.
The person who has submitted this, has this been well documented as something that it will is functional and will be functional for a while?
So it
Do you
is.
know?
So I don't know the history of how it works, of the history of how it came about, but my understanding from what was presented was you have a projection from above onto a like a sandbox, so to speak.
Right.
And they could take the sand and mold it and show how the topography works
And changes.
and changes and stuff, and how they can get different types of land masses together.
Okay, is the equipment itself, I mean, has it been do you know?
I do not
who's
know the
vetting-
specifics
who's
of it.
vetting it or anything like that? Because my concern is, we invested a lot of money in something that looked spectacular when it was shown to us, and it ended up not being so spectacular at the end of the day. And whenever you get these things that have a lot of mechanics to it, of any kind, things can typically malfunction.
I can certainly get
So-
more specific information for you.
I would just like to make sure that whoever is from your group who is vetting these proposals has reassurance that these have been documented to be sound
Okay,
investments, especially when it has, I'm assuming you're gonna have to install the overhead projector.
Oh, yes.
And bring in the and is it actual sand in
Yes.
the box?
My understanding it
So you're
is.
gonna have to have a lot of equipment to put in, is it going in the science?
Yes, it's gonna actually go into
Building
2 rooms.
But into something we're not right now currently looking at?
Correct.
Changing?
Correct.
In any way in our scope of any renovations we're doing. I just want to make sure, because like I said, we thought we had this glorious piece of equipment to display, and I don't know if it ever ended up working for long.
I will tell you what, I'll get some information directly from
I just
Mr.
want
Kirchner.
to, make sure that we.
Send that
yeah.
to the board.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, trustee Mazza.
Yes, thank you for this. So if we were to expense those projects next meeting, I would assume?
Correct.
How much left is in the TIF project?
We started off with 390,000, and we can potentially go 10% over, so we hold that 10% back. which means we have about, I would say about $20,000, $30,000
Okay.
remaining.
Sure, I was surprised not to see an AI project presented by any of the staff as far as to buy like a processor for AI modeling, but it is something that they can consider for next time. But thank you,
Well, it depends on what department you talk to.
for sure. I know one professor would be very interested in this, but
Trustees are.
So Professor James, I'm really happy that we're upgrading the auditorium. Because I think it's important that we do everything we can at P12 too, to make our facilities attractive to, you know, artists or companies that want to rent them out. And so another
Absolutely.
form of revenue for us. Do you know, or does anyone else here know, are we fairly, okay, the Civic Center is rented out like almost every night. So there's obviously people in Dearborn want to rent performance space. Are we actively, I know that we advertise our auditorium, but is it routinely rented out?
No.
I think the answer is no, but
I knew you, I kind of figured you were going to.
Okay, sorry. Hi there, Dr. John Michael Spell.
could you come up, could you come up to the microphone?
I mean, I can speak louder.
No, it's for the recording, it's for the recordings and the, yeah, no problem.
So good evening, Dr. John Michael Safel. I am over with theater with HFC, and thank you all for being here tonight. Regarding renting out, I want to say this as diplomatically as I can. When I came in and realized that there were issues that we had fire code violations, we had to be right. We had issues where it became problematic to be renting it out. I asked that we pulled most of that stuff back. We also still had pre-COVID rules on the website as far as renting it out and what have you. That had been placed on pause as of just very, very recently. The curtains have been replaced, I'm thrilled to say, so we are now up to fire code. There are some ADA concerns that we are trying to address that right now we are able to sort of slip by with, for lack of a better word, which is why we are still running some of our programs in there. We are right now chatting with, literally just yesterday, I was chatting with a local dance company that wants to come back in. We've had, during my time here, 4 years, 3 or 4 major rentals where we said this is important enough that we're gonna push it even though we shouldn't be until we get all these things handled. Things like the TIF that's in front of you is part of trying to get those things handled. And the hope is that these things fall into place, we're then able to turn around and update our prices from it's no longer 2015 state, and absolutely make it something that if you don't need the Ford, right, you know, we really have just these, this wonderful opportunity for smaller, more intimate, and just wonderful local sort of experiences. We certainly get the phone calls about them. We have people who have rented in the past who had great relationships, and I've done everything I can to keep them happy, and I swear we're going to get back to you. The switching out the curtains was a major step toward that. We are now legal, so the next steps are just trying to get this last.
So doctor, because it is a intimate, it's about 400 seats, right, if I remember correctly?
Currently 400, yeah. One of the issues that we're looking at is with the ADA, until we fix some other things, we're okay to get by, but right now, it doesn't meet current code with that many seats, so we would get a little bit smaller already just from people that we've had and come and take a look at, and consultants, what have you. But it would still be, we're still talking about 300-ish, I'm guessing. I'm not an expert in the seating rules, but yeah, it's still certainly much less than the Ford, and yet large enough that you can do legitimate sized events in there.
And under the current pricing, which maybe we can make more once we update it.
Yes.
Under the current pricing, what does it rent out for?
So I don't mean to be difficult here.
Yeah.
It's that the pricing is difficult when you go on there. It is something like $500 for the first hour, and then this for each additional. But if you want a microphone, that's $50. If you want a stand, it's this. It was a. I apologize for the person that was responsible for it is in the room, but it was a nickel and dime sort of approach. And so a lot of the conversation is, hey, how can we just make this easy? Because we want it to be a nice community feeling thing, that the value doesn't just come out of the revenue, but also from that sense of belonging to the community.
Yeah, as someone who like rents theaters
Yes.
for a living, and in Dearborn too, I know there's a demand.
Yes.
People want to do events in Dearborn, and they want to have, and people will pay if they know the place is state of the art, they're going to get a good technician on site. So I would encourage us, I'm sure that everyone's on, I don't think anyone's against this, but I would encourage us, if we can make Henry Ford a cultural center that people are doing events at all the time, I just think it adds so much more to our appeal. So I thank you guys for taking this initiative, and let's like full speed ahead as far as I'm concerned.
For what it's worth, strongly agreed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I thought trustee Zar was trying to book an event.
No, not
Well,
yet.
he may still be.
Once they update everything, I will.
Yeah, it would be a good venue, honestly, God. Next item. Well, we got any more discussions on this? Do we vote?
We don't.
This
No,
is
no,
discussion.
just
This is
discussion item.
information.
Next
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. James.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your work. The next item on the agenda is citizen participation. Just one card. Okay, citizens wishing to address the board on agenda and non-agenda items for action who have submitted a blue card by 7:10 PM or 10 minutes after we start to the secretary may speak at this time. The board may not be in a position to respond to non-agenda items, therefore speakers should not anticipate an immediate response to their comments or questions. For the benefit of all concerned, do not mention the names of students or college employees. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. If during those 3 minutes the comments become personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant, your public comment time may be interrupted or ended. We have one blue card, and tonight we have Eric Rader.
Good evening, Chair Aljami and members of the board, Dr. Gonko. Several people have mentioned our the faculty who will be earning tenure tonight as a result of your deliberations. And I'm so glad that so many of them are in the room tonight. One of the great thrills of being president of Local 1650 is to have the best faculty in the world, in my opinion. And we have some great new people, newish people who are now going to be here for full, long careers. One of the great things about the tenure process here is it really is a collaborative effort between the union and the college. And we do this through, we do our own mentoring. Every newly hired member of Local 1650 is assigned a mentor from their area or department. So each of these individuals has had a mentor for the last 4 years who has worked with them. And they also have submitted artifacts to a portfolio, an online portfolio process set up through the HR department. So thanks to our HR friends, we've worked very closely on that process with them. The deans and associate deans, some of whom are in the room tonight, they also do a lot of support for newly hired faculty during their first 4 years and beyond. We don't stop that after they get tenure, but certainly the most intensive part of it is during the first 4 years of probation. Because we want them to succeed. It's not about just hiring somebody and then letting them do their own thing. We really have an interest, and I think this is one of the hallmarks of this process here at Henry Ford, which has been in our contract for a long time, long before I arrived here, the idea that we support them. And if they have questions, concerns, whatever, we make sure that we can get answers to them and help them feel comfortable here at Henry Ford College. And so all of the individuals who will be earning tenure tonight are credits to their profession. We have people, as you've heard, range of fields that are represented by our newly, the faculty who are earning tenure tonight. And I'm very proud. One of the other thrills of this job is I get to meet our faculty in a different way than I did before I was president of the union. And I've learned a lot about whether it's culinary arts or nursing or all of the other, I did go to the asset graduation the event a couple weeks ago, and I learned things that night about asset that I didn't know. So we have great faculty, both full-time and adjuncts, and but of course, I'm particularly proud of the ones who will be earning tenure tonight. I want to congratulate them publicly and thank you for supporting them as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving on to special consideration of action items. Are there any action items on this agenda which board members or the president wish to discuss and vote on separately? Okay, so then I will call for a single action to approve all the action items on this agenda. So I'm looking for someone to move to approve action items numbered 1 through 8 as recommended in this agenda.
So moved.
Support.
any questions or discussions on these items. I did have one question. And it's not, it's really, I saw a lot of items where Gary Peters Workforce 360. That's a good thing. And do we utilize that a lot? And I'm trying to understand what that is.
Sure, absolutely. I can give some insight on that, and this is something that I emailed a couple of other of your colleagues about in preparation for this meeting. So the Gary Peters Workforce 360 grant is considered congressionally directed spending. It was obtained for HFC by Senator Gary Peters, and the grant provides $3 million to address Southeast Michigan's skilled labor shortage, particularly in high growth, high wage fields. The fields include skilled trades, includes nursing. You'll see plumbing and electrical represented in the request for tonight, as well as healthcare. This grant was awarded to the college in June of 2025, and we have a 3-year window to spend the money, so it expires in June of 2028. And the funds are intended to be able to modernize our lab spaces, to create either new or enhanced academic pathways that lead to industry-recognized credentials in those fields that I mentioned, and ultimately to create a sustainable talent pipeline from the college directly into employment. So that's kind of the overall philosophy behind the grant, and I'd be happy to provide more information in writing if it would be helpful.
Thank you so much. And the only thing I want to say is there was in item number 4, I'm not sure if it's updated, where it said plumbing instead of electrical somewhere. So,
Training systems, but it says residential plumbing
Yeah.
in the action item.
yeah, just
Okay.
a modification on that because it is electrical.
So this should say technologies for an electrical training? What should it say?
Item number 4, the recommended action should say, move to approve a contract award totaling $84,330 to Toolkit Technologies for a residential electrical training system platform
Instead of plumbing.
instead of
electrical.
plumbing.
Okay. Yeah, the title is correct, but the recommended action was incorrect.
Yes.
I got it.
Correct. If there's no other questions, then we would do a roll call.
Okay, so again, this motion is to approve action items 1 through 8 in this agenda. A yes vote approves all the items 1 through 8. Trustee Bazey.
Yes.
Trustee Moses.
Yes.
Trustee Petlicoff.
Yes.
Trustee Subah.
Yes.
Trustee Zahar, yes. Chair El-Jahmi,
Yes.
6-0. The next item is Board of Trustees business, starting with acknowledgements of correspondence.
Any correspondence? I think the only correspondence is, that I receive is the pre-ed correspondent. I think that's it.
Okay, next item is Board Committee reports.
I think I'm looking for you guys. Go ahead,
Yeah.
trustees are.
So I'd like to invite Vice President Moss Ferguson up to the podium just in case we have any questions, so you don't gotta come up and down. So this is concerning the Presidential Negotiation Committee, Presidential Negotiation, Contract Negotiation Ad Hoc Subcommittee, if I'm saying that all correctly, which includes me and Trustee Bazey and Trustee Subah. I just want to give everybody a quick rundown of how the calendar has gone. So on April 10th, we appointed Mr. Kniezek. April 13th, we started emailing back and forth with Vice President Moss Ferguson, who's guiding us through this process. And at our April 20th meeting, we agreed to send Mr. Kniezek an initial contract based on President Cavaluna's, one of President Cavaluna's previous contracts. There was a little back and forth between us and Mr. Kniezek's team, and then we first met in person on May 7th, where we went over his proposals to the initial contract, and then communicated those things back to his team and his attorney. Then May 15th, last Friday, we had another committee meeting where Mr. Kniezek and his attorney were present, where we tried to discuss all the outstanding issues. And is that calendar right so far, what I said? Okay, and then, so that was last Friday.
Those are all open meetings.
Oh, those were all, yeah, those were all open meetings. That was last Friday, and then we sent Mr. Kinesic some proposals over the weekend. He accepted those proposals, and then this morning, Vice President Moss Ferguson put together this draft of a contract, employment agreement between the college and Mr. Kinesic, which you all received around noon today, maybe whatever,
Noon.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then she sent us another one, I think just with some typos fixed around 3:30 or 4 o'clock.
That's correct.
Yeah, just a couple of typographical things, which I assume are reflected in this hard copy you gave us?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's here for consideration. Now, I've communicated with my fellow committee, I know everyone just received it today. If Mr. Kinesic had indicated that he wanted us to try to approve it today, that's up to us. You know, I know everyone just received it, this is a big thing, and Trustee D'Ambrosio's not here. So, I've spoken with my committee members, I think it would be proper for us to ask any questions about it we have now, discuss, but doesn't mean we have to pass anything tonight if we have to meet again or have a special meeting in the next week or so to actually pass it. I think that would be totally proper. I don't think we need to, especially since everyone just got it today, but we can do whatever we want at the end of the day. I just want to make it clear that the committee's not saying we have to pass something tonight. That's up to us. But that being said, I'm happy to entertain any questions about the items in here and pass anything off to Vice President Moss Ferguson if necessary, and then I'll leave it to Vice President Moss Ferguson if she thinks at any time we should jump very quickly into a closed session to discuss any privileged items with her if necessary, which we can do maybe at the end of, well, I don't think there's much after this anyway, so yeah. Anyone have any questions for me, or for the committee, sorry?
Trustee Petrichoff?
I already had conversation with Ms. Moss Ferguson, and I'm going to submit a question to her because I need some data. And I wanted to further review the rest of the contract because I didn't have time to look at it carefully, but one thing jumped out at me that I had a question on.
Okay.
Trustee Mazza?
I too need more time to review it. I do have an issue with the starting salary because we did have the posting with a specific range, and it's coming to us outside that range. I understand this is negotiable, but a range is there for a reason, is to negotiate within that range. Another thing is that, you know, whenever a new president or a new superintendent would come in, not necessarily take on from what their the previous president, thank you, before take on that. These individuals have accumulated, for example, the spending that we give them. They got that after a number of years of proving themselves. So to give that on the onset is an issue for me. And then I'm okay as far as the car thing, as far as renting the car or giving the lease of the car and putting that as just one individual number instead of going back and forth and doing the mileage thing. I think that is fine. But again, I have issues with those three things, and
What are
I've
those-
already
What
communicated.
are those three you said?
The starting salary, I already mentioned the what is this called? Professional expenses for
expenses budget.
professional
Yeah.
obligations. Yeah, and then the other thing is the whole no cause termination clause. A full year of salaries, I think, is way too much. And I don't know if that's a standard in the industry. I don't think it is, and we should definitely revisit that.
Is there any times, and this is asking trustees are, and Ms. Ferguson, is there any time when questions are limited to a closed session?
Go ahead, yeah, sorry. Do you want to answer that?
You can go
It's,
first.
it's my understanding, and this actually came up in our committee meeting on Friday. It's my understanding that, talking about the terms should be done open. I mean, there's no exceptions to go into a closed session to talk about terms of a contract or even to negotiate terms of a contract. Now, if anything about a term might get into, at least for our purposes, not for negotiating with Mr. Kniezek, but let's say a term that we are discussing might have legal or liability ramifications for the college, and that's why we came to that term or conclusion, then that might be a time to go into a closed session with President, or with Vice President Moss Ferguson. Is that accurate the way I said it?
That is accurate.
So, and I think maybe a couple of the things, it might be useful for 15 or 20 minutes to go into a closed session today, just to maybe clarify anything, not to make anyone say yes to anything, but just to understand how something was come to, and then come back, so that I would like to get an understanding, at least today, of, and it's totally okay, but I would like to get an understanding of today of, look, if there is something that is brought up by a trustee and that we all maybe reach some sort of consensus on, that we need to change anything in here, then that means we need to go back to Mr. Kniezek, and then he needs to come back to us, which I would like to try to initiate that process today. Otherwise, we have to meet again, which is fine. I mean, I think we're on a fine calendar. I don't think we're on a problematic calendar in any way, so, but it would be nice to get some guidance today from the rest of the trustees, like, hey, if this is something that you really can't live with, and then we all kind of agree with you, then we'll change it and go back to him. But maybe it's good to go into a closed session first to answer any legal or liability questions, whatever that we might get from Vice President Moss Ferguson for a little while, and then come back and, I mean,
think-
that might be better.
And just,
I would say,
Pardon me.
sorry, we have to go to a closed session if there is a need. If there's something that we need to discuss and it's not public, but if it's, and that's why I asked the question earlier, if it's more, things that we could discuss in the open session, then we should. So if we want to go into closed session, it has to be very specific as to why we're going into a closed session.
sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Trustee Azar and Board Chair, and through the Chair, so that the other trustees are aware, prior to the two special meetings the committee had, a written opinion was provided to those three committee members. And so I can offer that to the other board trustees if they would like in a closed session, and that may, as Trustee Azar said, facilitate this process.
I think that makes sense if there's an opinion from legal to go into a closed session. Because I think it's best that we at least get where the trustees are, so we can move forward as soon as we can. Can we have a motion to go into a closed session, if that's what we need?
Yeah, so just to be clear, if we're gonna, and I agree, so just so that everyone understands here. So we would go into a closed session now, hopefully very brief, to discuss Vice President Moss Ferguson's legal opinions on a few of these items. We won't, in this closed session, be discussing anything that is outside of those things. We'll come back into open session to do that.
Discuss them.
But just for clarification on a few items, if that makes sense. Yeah?
It's really hearing the opinion of Dr. Ferguson on the conclusion that she wants to present to us.
I'll take it, thank you.
Well, we are juris doctors.
We are
technically.
actually doctors
Yes.
of the law, thank you.
Doctors, right, Masri? We are.
Call me doctor.
Doctor, you call me doctor.
All right.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go into closed session under MCL 15268, Section
1H.
H, which is to go to discuss material exempt under statute.
Second.
Second.
This needs a 2/3 roll call
All
vote,
right, so, roll call?
which would be 4 out of 6. Trustee Bazey?
Yes.
Trustee Mozip?
Yes.
Trustee Pelichkov?
Yes.
Trustee Suba?
Yes.
Trustee Zahar, yes. Chair Al-Jahmi?
Yes.
We'll be right back.
We're back in open session. So go ahead, trustee.
Okay, so we're still on board committee reports, talking about the presidential contract negotiation ad hoc subcommittee, which I'm chairing along with trustee Bazey and trustee Subba. Everyone, all the trustees have this document provided to us by Vice President Moss Ferguson. What I'd like to do is I'm just going to refer to the sections by their numeral, and if anyone has any questions or things that I'd especially like to know, if you would suggest a change, and then if you're up to just us saying whether or not we accept that change, or if it's something that you can't live, like you're just not gonna approve it if it's in there, then maybe we'll all agree to, whatever, but let's just get some kind of idea of where we stand on certain things, because if we make any changes to this, then we have to send it back to Mr. Kniezek. He would have to accept those changes, and then we'd have to hear that from him, and then we'd have to schedule a special meeting to approve the contract. Okay? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Go ahead, please.
So subsection 1, any questions? Subsection 2, 3, 4.
Speak up if you're hearing
Oh,
anything.
sorry.
No,
No,
I-
I'm just saying.
What I'm going to say for right now is I want to take this home, read it a little bit more in detail.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm not prepared to make any recommendations at this moment because I want to digest this a little better.
Okay.
From what I heard.
So then another way to do this, if it's okay with everybody, would be for everyone to take it home, communicate to me any but then,
I would,
so if you communicate to me a suggestion you have, and then I guess I can then communicate with everyone else, I mean, that's a round robin, I don't know. So,
Could I just
that's why I kind of wanted to try to, I get it though.
But I
You
need,
just got
I
it
need
today.
some time, right,
Yeah.
I need some time to
Which-
really.
So I guess what, I'm sorry, Chair Jim, I guess another thing we could do is just schedule a special meeting from now and say, look, we're gonna have a special meeting in whenever. That gives everybody enough time, and then we just do this all at that meeting.
Yeah,
I think that sounds much better.
if I could just interject, I think it's okay, which we would still give trustee Petlicoff and everybody else time to look at it. But if there's any questions that we could answer today, I like where you're going. It doesn't mean we have to do anything. We still have to respect those that just seen it to be able to look at it. But if there's any questions that we could answer to save us time,
Yes.
instead of doing a round
Yeah,
robin.
that's why I hesitated to say anything, but I'm gonna just
Which is
right
fine.
now
It's
bow
accept-
out
it's
from-
acceptable, so I would go with where you were going, and it's still, we're not gonna make per your request, we're just gonna give the time.
Okay, so let's see where this ends up then, still keeping in mind that we might just schedule a special meeting for a certain amount of days from now to go over the whole thing anyway.
Which is fair.
For people who just, like trustee Pelishkov, who wants to digest the whole thing. Okay, I stopped at 4. 4, any questions about 4 or comments? Any questions or comments about 5?
Again, I'd raise the question about respecting the range that we set forward when we posted the job.
Yeah, so just for clarity for everyone, when we posted the job, we posted it at 275 to 300. That was a public posting as a base salary. 275,000 to 300,000 as a base salary. The negotiations that eventually resulted in the number you have here is higher than that. I don't want to say anything I shouldn't say. Higher than that, and so
What
so
was-
that's what Trustee Mosip is referring to.
What was the justification? I think that's the thing from the committee.
So the first response we got back from Mr. Kniezek and his attorney was, we think the high end of the published range is way too low to be in line with what he referred to as the top 8 community colleges in Michigan, which at that point he said were around $375,000 as a base salary. But he didn't actually propose a number. So instead of negotiating against ourselves, we then said to him, well, then propose a number. and he came back and proposed the number. Is it proper to say if somebody asks? I mean, I don't know. These weren't, I mean, we did it in these open meetings. So we did it in these, so it's up to you, Chair, if you want us to talk
I
about
think
this.
it's okay to talk about numbers, at least in my opinion, but I'll defer to you, because in an open meeting, these numbers, especially the salary, that's,
Yeah, these numbers were discussed in the open meeting, special meeting that the committee had last Friday, the 15th. I just wanted, for the record, though, to add, after that number was provided by Mr. Knizik, the committee then countered with a much lower number.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying,
Which was then accepted, yes.
yeah, which was then accepted, which is the number you see now.
Yes.
yeah.
So instead of, I
So
mean, if
this
you would
was-
like, it
this
depends how much
number is-
detail you want me to go
This
into.
was our count, this was our
This was
counter.
your counter
So,
number.
so we asked him provide a number. He provided a number that was here.
Much higher, okay.
We said, no. And we gave him this number, which is the number you see in the contract, which he then accepted. Yes, trustee.
I have a question. Of those 8 higher paying community colleges, how long have all those presidents been seated?
Yeah, that was some of the questions we had so when he first said to us, the top 8, I said, what does top 8 mean anyway? Like, do you mean top 8 by size, top 8 by salary, top 8 by, we tend to have a smaller
Credit-
tax base than
credit
a lot of.
hours?
Yeah,
What? Yeah.
so that was kind of vague, which is why we said, look, just give us a number. And then he came back with a number that was here, and we said, no, we don't think that's reasonable. We came back with a number that was here, and he accepted that number, which is the number you see in the contract, if that makes sense.
But we still don't know what was being referred to
Yes.
in the top 8, and how long those presidents had been there, and
Correct.
how they had accumulated that current salary.
No, we did the research, a list of the
Okay.
top 8 was provided, and we did our research to check in on the tenures of them, which is how we ended up going much lower. The reason we went above, I mean, it is pretty common in the industry, especially in executive level, to go above a salary range that's published, especially given the little bit that we moved over the range, which could be justified because, again, it did come in a little under market in comparable positions, considering tenure, considering
Okay,
area, all that
that's
stuff.
what I'm-
And then secondly, I think you can't look at it in a vacuum. So this is an entire contract. There was a lot of give and take, and so Mr. Knizik's team offered a lot of favorable terms to us in other areas where we felt like this was okay for us to give and go above. And this was our way of
slightly
giving a little
higher.
bit back. Yeah, it's all part of
Okay.
the big negotiation.
Okay, I just
So
wanted to know.
I appreciate it,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I will say, in the committee meetings, which again were open, I voiced the exact same thing that I think trustee Moses is voicing, which is, look, we had a range, we published it, we got a lot of applicants, great applicants, 120 applicants, so it's not like the whole world thought that this was a terrible range. We put forward a range, and so I expressed my concern that, look, how can we justify paying above the high end of that range, especially for a first-time, all this kind of stuff. So I brought up these things in the meeting. And then we went back with this number and he accepted it.
And one would assume that when people see a range based upon an advertisement, that they may think, well, I can do something with that. And it wasn't set in stone anyhow, so,
I mean,
because
you
they
know.
know what negotiating is going to occur.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
And
I
if
mean,
not, this is a
first year
good
of law-
tip.
First
It's a
year of
good tip.
contracts,
Yeah.
everything's negotiable.
It's a good
Yeah.
life advice for
And
anybody else.
I think because the number is not so extreme, but I do respect the range. But
Right.
the amount over is not so extreme. And so it's not, for me, a showstopper, but we always have to respect the range
Right.
or increase the range. And maybe the committee, as they dug into it deeper, they found out that maybe our range wasn't where it needs to be.
And
And I do remember during the negotiations that we went back and forth, we actually got to a point where we were here, we said, let's go look at the other pieces, what's going on there, what are we saying we want to take away, and then we came back here. So it was all, like Trustee Soba had said, it was all part of a, give and take.
So did you guys feel like after you negotiated that our range might not have been the best range in comparison to other
Well,
colleges?
I don't want to say that. I
I'm-
don't want to say that.
I
but-
think what they're saying is that we got something else in exchange for
Yeah, I think
a
if you look at it
slightly
holistically.
increased
That's fair. That's
base
fair.
salary, something else was traded off
Okay.
that was important to us.
Like, I'll just say as a general matter, a lot of these terms, I'll say this as a general matter, a lot of these terms which mirror the terms that were in President Cavaluna's first contract especially. There were attempts to negotiate different things for those terms, but we got it back to like, hey, let's just
Okay.
stick with
Right.
certain things.
All
So without going into like all the back and forth, which we can if anyone has any questions, but just so to be clear.
No, we just
That's
want-
what the committee is for,
Yeah.
to do that work.
So
Yeah.
any other questions about or any other things to say about the, number 5, the compensation, the base salary?
I don't
About
see,
A, B, or C?
I'm looking around, I don't see any questions. Is there
Okay.
any?
6? 6A, 6B, 6C, 6D, those are all basic boilerplate stuff. 6E, 6F, 6G. Okay, and then under 6G, we have a
Hold
few
on a
headings
second.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
So 6G1, which is the car, the vehicle provision, we'll call it.
Yep.
Any questions about that or how it was come to?
Not seeing any questions.
Well,
Just for now, I mean, yeah.
Just for now, yeah.
For now.
Just for now, clarifications, anything like that? Okay. 6B2, which is the professional obligation budget. Any questions about how that was come to?
Again, I raised concern to that. I mean, coming in as new, I think the previous president earned this kind of 50,000 after multiple years of effective ratings and doing things that we believe the board felt like, okay, this could be rewarded to increase this after negotiations too, but from the get-go, get to that number, I think that this was high, and I'm still waiting to hear as far as, we went beyond the initial range for the salary, but where are the things that we got back as far as, and that's why probably I have to go back and read this further,
Okay.
just to see
That's fair.
where we got.
With the 50,000 for the professional services, and I remember I had many conversations with Mr. Cavaluna about this and how it was monitored. How we keep track and make sure it's not going someplace that we as a board might object to for any reason. So when we put it in here, and I know this is standard language for it, but I always questioned, he showed, at that time, Mr. Cavaluna showed me how it
Receipts.
was being monitored and who was keeping track of it. We don't have anything in here, though, in the contract itself.
Correct. So this says at his discretion at the end of that.
Right.
So there's no requirement to account for it. That doesn't mean we can't ask for it, but that's how it looks now. So.
And
it
I
look-
always worry about that because.
I think that's totally valid.
Especially, when there's so many pressures from political entities or private, entities. I want some reassurance that, there's somebody looking at it to
Would it
make
be,
sure.
if I could ask you, Aaron, Vice President Moss Ferguson, would it be, as far as you know in executive contracts like this, and I guess I'll also ask trustee Silva, would it be common or not out of practice to, instead of saying instead of saying, oh, sorry, that you say up to $50,000 and that you have to account these things to the board? Would that be out of custom?
It would not be, and I'll offer to the board and refresh the committee's recollection that Mr. Kniezek did offer a reporting structure that expenditures over a certain dollar amount be reported to the board, and that is something that the board could require.
Right, so we could say, so there's a few different ways to come at this. We could say, anything above X amount you need to tell us about ahead of time. Or we could say,
Or at least
we
have
want to know what it, or if it's a nature of this, whatever, we could ask for whatever we want. But, so we could say, we're not doing that tonight, but just so people understand, we could say, look, if it's above a certain amount, we want to know about it, either before or after you do it, or we want to know about everything, so that when we revisit this down the line, we can revisit it every year, whatever, we could.
What's
you
a
know.
common practice, though? Did you guys look at any other contracts, and what did you see?
For this particular sub-item, Mr. Cavaluna was able to use these funds at his discretion.
Right. So which means, just so everybody understands, it's added to it's just a added compensation, and we'd never ask about it.
Well, I did ask about it,
So, I mean,
but I
sorry.
asked about it
We
privately.
couldn't, sorry,
Yeah.
no, we could ask about it, but we couldn't hold them accountable for any of it under the contract.
It's a
But-
trust.
Trustee,
It's at-
sorry,
At their discretion.
Mr. Cavalona, there was no, there's nothing that prevented him from using it at his discretion based on the contract, even though maybe he gave reporting to it, based on what you said, but there was nothing contract-wise that
Yeah.
Right.
said he had to show us.
That's correct.
Okay.
And what traditionally, Vice President Moss Ferguson, are this budget used for?
Based on
Just
my
hypothetical
understanding,
examples.
because I don't have such a discretion, so.
Sure you
But it could be used for various things, specifically to when the president's out in the community, when they are speaking with folks, they may be having a lunch, a coffee, dinner. They maybe have membership at certain clubs that also call for entertaining expenditures in order to have the audience of person or people or group that may offer things beneficial to the college.
But it can also be used for donations.
And
Again, it's
expenses
at that
Right.
person's discretion.
Right.
mean political
So,
donations?
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes, I would request if we can get maybe some proposal or an idea, and I can communicate with you if that's acceptable,
okay with me.
with you know, my experience and understanding. Mr. Kniezek's team did offer you know, some reporting structure that we felt was very gracious and generous with some explanation, and then there was weighing that versus the administrative burden and, you know, kind of micromanaging and too much oversight into the president's funds. And so that was something we weighed. So we can definitely go back and find something that works a little better.
Well, I don't think I'm going out of, taking something out of privilege. Mr. Cavaluna hired an outside entity to, for anything that was, like, political donations or whatever. He had a PAC manager, or whatever you want to call it, that he set up with these funds in order to, and that's how I came to understand how the monies were being spent when I asked him.
But he wasn't obligated to do that.
He wasn't obligated to,
Okay.
no, but I'm just saying,
No, I-
if Mr. Kniezek is being so gracious as to, he might want to consider, because it wasn't a large sum of money that he took from there to pay somebody to just keep track, and it
Absolutely.
wouldn't be an administrative burden on our employees.
Exactly. That's a good
And that,
idea.
which is what Mr. Cavaluna did.
Thank
And
you.
look, of course, if the president makes a political contribution, that's public, you know,
Yeah.
information anyway.
But that's why he hired somebody who
Sure.
knew how to keep track of all of that.
The only thing I would say is, there's, the word discretion means, at his discretion, And when we say obligation, is what obligation are we, because then if you put obligation to do report, that becomes a part of the contract. So we gotta distinguish how we handle Mr. Carbonella versus voluntarily doing things. 'Cause if it's voluntary, then they're not under any obligation to do any of that.
Okay. Any more questions on that, section 2 there? Okay, section 3, section 4, and then back to major heading 7. Heading 8. Heading 9. Heading 10. Heading 11. Heading 12. A, B, or C under 12. Heading 13. Any of the headings under 13A, B, C, D, E, F. This is the for cause and without cause part of the termination clause. Okay. Heading 14, this is the compensation for early termination without cause.
Again, I'd raise that as a concern as far as this substantive amount. I understand the risk for this, but it is, I don't know if it's industry standard to set 12 months of compensation. I think we could start with 6 months.
Okay. Number 15. Just so people know, number 15 is in there because our policies say that the president should reside within the district. He resides like a mile outside the district, so we're just waiving that requirement. Number 16, 17, 18 is all the boring stuff. 19, 20. Okay.
And I do want to say to everyone that's here, we did receive the document today in noon and updated later on. So in fairness to the trustees, no one is trying to be difficult. They just need enough time to be able to look at it. And, you know, everybody worked full-time and other things going on, so just need enough time to look at it.
Totally understandable.
Are we setting a meeting?
Yeah, so let's try to set a meeting. Next Monday is, just so that everyone's clear, next Monday is Memorial Day, it's a holiday.
Yeah.
So, whether we want to meet the end of this week or next week.
Let's, so if we could do it this week, I mean, is it enough time to be able to do it this week?
I think so.
Mary?
Okay.
Well,
Next Wednesday, the beginning, right?
Friday's my only evening free.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, trustee, sorry, I didn't hear that.
Friday
She said
is my
Friday's
only
only-
free
Or is your
evening.
only
I could do
evening
Friday,
free
too.
this week? We also start to run into Eid next week.
Yeah,
We have honors night
What
on the
day?
Friday, 22nd.
I mean, you're gonna have a lot of
From
events
6 to
over the
PM,
next couple
yeah.
of weeks.
Okay,
It's gonna be unavoidable.
so I mean, we could shoot for Tuesday, the 26th. I mean,
I just wasn't going to honors night on
Okay.
Friday.
Yeah.
yeah.
So Friday, this Friday is not an option?
I mean, we could do it at 5.
Yeah. If you
What
guys-
time is on, what's the honor? I don't have it.
It's 6
6.
p.m.
Is 5 enough time to talk about
I
what we want
think
to talk
so.
about?
Yeah.
That works for me.
We could be late to the honors night, it's no problem, but.
Yeah.
Everyone
Right.
else?
Friday's fine with me.
Yes, no?
Did you say you can make it, or is this the
I
only night you can?
That's
Can.
the night I can, yeah.
Okay, so that would be Friday, May 22nd at 5 PM here.
Yes.
Does anyone object to that? I think trustee Bazey told me that you had a word with trustee D'Ambrosio earlier, and he said the
I
rest
knew
of this
about-
week is kind of good.
I think Friday was okay. I knew Wednesday was fine, but we can ask him.
Do you want to ask him right now? I mean, well, that's okay.
I'll call him when I get home.
Okay. So Friday, May 22nd at 5 PM here.
Yes.
Anybody have a problem with that?
I'm not seeing anyone opposing, so I think that's good.
Okay, so
Patty, are you gonna
You can
oppose?
notice that for us? Purpose of the meeting is to discuss the presidential designate contract terms. Okay, that concludes my board committee report.
All right.
Sorry, unless there's anything that I forgot to add?
No.
Anything I forgot?
No, it's good.
Okay.
Committee report.
Go
So, in the same terms, as far as the superintendent initial contract, I have drafted the initial contract based on Dr. Maliko's 2015 contract, and then reviewed it with the attorney. He sent me a red line version as well as a kind of a draft to send to all of you, so I'll be sending that tonight. And so his advice is that I can set times available for all of you to chat with me as far as your concerns and things to go over. And then we could go back with him to tell him that those are the things that were raised. We could put that in the contract also back again, and then if all goes well, then we send that contract to Mr. Saley, and perhaps maybe his attorney as well.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to send us Mr. Maliko's contract?
The initial contract? Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, so for comparisons, yeah,
I think
for
it's,
sure.
we did this with the, here with the, Mr. Kavanaugh. It just gives us a baseline.
Sure.
And it's more for the legal wording than
Yeah.
anything else.
I would like just to say that, you know, a lot of things have changed since 2015, both in statute and also standards.
So that was from
there were a lot of
2015?
things that we put in that were not in 2015 contract, so.
If that's
So
the
you won't be
case.
sending us the 2015 contract, you'll be sending us the modified 2015 contract after speaking to the attorney?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other committees? If not, then next item.
Next item is request for information and/or future agenda items.
Seeing none. Next item.
Next item is board member commentary.
Any comments from the board?
Just quickly, I know we're coming on to Memorial Day, so obviously we remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, and thank also the veterans who have served.
Agreed. Any other comments? Go ahead, trustee Czar.
Well, next week is Eid, so Eid Mubarak to everybody. Also, I'm sure everyone heard in the news today, unfortunately, there was a terrible shooting at a mosque in San Diego earlier today. And just remind us to stay supportive of all our students, as we are here in Dearborn, which is always the flashpoint of the Arab and Muslim community in America, that these things are happening throughout the country. So, and I'm sure our college here is always, you know, ready to give these kinds of like counseling services to students who might need them. You know, unfortunately, these are some of the times we live in. So, just wanted to note that as well.
Any other comments from the board? If none, next item.
Future meeting dates, future meeting dates.
Friday.
Friday, May 22nd, 5 PM, HFC Board of Trustees, special meeting at the Administrative Services and Conference Center in the Rosenall Boardroom. Monday, June 15th, 2026, HFC Board of Trustees Policy Committee meeting, 6 p.m. at the Administrative Services and Conference Center in the Cabinet Conference Room. Monday, June 15th, 2026, HFC Board of Trustees meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Conference and Services and Conference Center in the Rosenall Boardroom. And Monday, June 22nd, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom.
All right, if there's no other businesses, the meeting is adjourned.